спортивного комплекса «Трамплин» третьего дня проведения чемпионата мира по ледолазанию в городе Кирове. И не забудем, что сегодня широкая Масленица и прощенное воскресенье.
Very good morning from a very sunny Kirov, Russia. We are here live for the 2019 UIAA Ice Climbing World Championships. It's the lead finals, and what a stunning set of finalists we have for you this morning. My name is Liam Lonsdale, and as always, it's my pleasure to be here. Let's take a quick look at those lead finalists. We're going to start with the women's finals list. First up will be Shabnam Asadi of Iran. She'll be followed by Anastasia Zazdravnik of Russia, Valeria Bogdan of Russia, Marion Tomas of France, Enni Bertling of Finland, Marianne Filipova of Russia, Maria Tolokanina of Russia, and reigning world champion Won Shin of Korea. Following those will, of course, be the men. They'll actually climb alternately. Both climbers have 16 clips on their routes, including the top, and 9 minutes to climb them. For the men, first out will be Dmitry Grebenikov of Russia, Alexander Karandashev of Russia. Third will be Luna Ladovot of France, followed by Alexei Dengin of Russia, Nikolai Kozlovlev of Russia, Mohammad Reza Safdarian of Iran, Alexei Marshallov of Russia, and Maxim Tomilov of Russia. Great to see him back out of retirement and in action. Okay, folks, so here we are back in business. And there is that impressive structure here in Kirov on the underside of this old ski jump. You can see in the background of that shot the frozen river, which is the backdrop to this competition. The whole place, something of a winter wonderland. As you're looking at that structure, on the left-hand side is the men's route, the right-hand side is the ladies' route. You can see that there's a number of different features, including hanging ice barrels, pre-drilled and non-pre-drilled. The athletes will be required to swing their axes into the ice. Also included swinging boxes and the like. It's really quite a fantastic set of routes. I had a look at them before. I was mightily impressed with what the route setters have come up with here. The route setting team, Stanislav Lobsov and Vasily Terekin. You see the judges there making their final preparations before our athletes join us.
Так, внимание на площадке. К старту готовится первая участница финальных
8 men and 8
соревнований
women qualified
спортсменка из Ирана
for these finals, and of course there is our first one, Iranian athlete, one of 2 in the finals, 1 man and 1 woman, Shabnam Asadi. Great to see her back in business in finals form. It's been a while since that happened. Wherever you're tuning in from and whoever you are cheering for, we would love to hear from you here. See already on the broadcast that plenty of folks are already tuned in.
Итак, друзья мои болельщики, я чувствую, что вы потихонечку прибываете на площадку. Готовы ли мы болеть?
And so in all blue,
Отлично! Я вот смотрю, у нас
Iranian
здесь такая
climber
вообще
Shabnam
замечательная
Asadi.
группа. Это болельщики Родины, нашей известной хоккейной команды. Супер, сегодня
And
будет
she goes on
жарко.
these first
Погода
moves.
способствует тому, чтобы началась настоящая весна.
Of course, this is the first time we've seen this route climbed.
Первая участница, спортсменка из
But as I
Ирана.
mentioned, I did take a look at this route.
трассе.
Did a spot of route reading before the athletes came out for observation.
Препятствий трассы.
If you do have any questions or comments, then get them in. Love to hear from you. Flying solo again this morning. Shabnam Asadi matching in the high grip with the left hand into a tricky figure 4 on the low part of this route. Just off vertical as part of the climbing. Still below that first pre-clipped quick draw. Into the Stein with the right. Matches in. Readjusts. Cautious start so far from Asadi. Moves on to that Krukanogi hook, the peg. On the right hand side of that volume, opts to use the tool rather than the handle, which has been a tactic used by pretty much everybody now that's had to deal with those tricky ice pegs, steel pegs rather. Moves up with the left hand onto the Chinese tool. Just looking there for clip number 4. As I mentioned earlier, the athletes have 9 minutes to climb this first route, or rather the only route. Both athletes, both sexes rather, male and female. 9 minutes and 16 clips. Moving up now into the steeper part of the route, you see the angle changing dramatically. Shabnam Asadi now moving into that hanging ice barrel. No pre-placements here, so athletes having to swing their axes into it Moves over, figure 9 onto the right hand. Similar position to where the men were yesterday after that crazy swinging box move. And I do know that higher up on this route, not to spoil the surprise, but there is that same swinging volume. Oh, Shabnam Masadi's out of there. Not quite sure what happened. I'd say it looked maybe a little pumped. She was just trying to throw that right leg over, and the right hand just gave up. Committed on one hand, probably needed to get it over quicker. It's a shame for Asadi, but a great effort. So that's the end of our first athlete, and now we're going to change to, of course, our second athlete, and we switch from women to men. First male athlete out will be Dmitry Grebenikov, and there he is, the Siberian Bear. If you are just joining us, a very good morning. Special welcome to our viewers in the United States. Good evening. We have George in Arizona. We have Megan in San Francisco. Wonderful to have you on board. Dmitry Grebenikov, as I pretty much always mention, is the biggest competitor we have on this tour. Kind of ridiculous, him swinging so low to the floor. 86 kilos of Siberian Bear. Real monster of a climber. For those of you that work in pounds, it's about 175 pounds of athlete. Climbing up now onto that first intellect hold. You see the red hold with a metal plate. Brand Intellect. New series of intellect holds this year. Rather than the small dimples, it's actually kind of rivets. It's hard to explain without a very good close-up. Onto the old school intellect holds with the right, swinging up to the Krukonogi edge. With the left, zero friction on those things. So small. Switches over himself, crossing over with the right hand. Uses the legs there, you can see, to balance his center of gravity. Lean away from that hold, put as much pressure through the tool as possible to take that next Krukonogi hold. Another steel plate. This time with very small edges drilled into it. Almost exclusively Krukonogi and intellect holds at the start of this route, bringing a very technical start section that's so far not causing Grebenikov any trouble. Using those strong shoulders to reach over himself, kicks through again to reset the center of gravity and release that left hand. You can see there how much he's having to twist. Really nice route reading from Grebenikov. Makes clip number 4. A very warm welcome to our viewers in Iran. Sure you're all excited to see Mohammad Reza Safdarian climbing later on. He'll be out 6th in the men, so still something of a wait before that gets going. Also looks like we have Emma McSwiggan and Jan Hansen on the broadcast. Great to have so many athletes involved. Emma McSwiggan taking overall bronze medal this season. Amazing work from her. Emma and I shot a route analysis video looking at her finals route from China, where she took silver medal. We shot that in Denver, so that's quite a recent video on the UIAA YouTube channel. Going to take a look at that later. Nice to see how the athletes feel about their own performances and get some sort of learning around what goes through their mind as they climb, and then also review. Now look at that, that's one of those Krukonogi steel plates, and Grebennikov swings that left leg over the right hand for the figure 4. Just struggling with a swing on that clip. Has it. Clip 6 made of 16. And up onto that next intellect hold, and you see there the metal plate in the hold. And the athletes are only allowed to use that metal part. Just to give you some idea of how much steep climbing is to come, he is at clip 6 of 16, and he's already in the steepest section. Things just stay almost horizontal now for the next 15 meters, roughly. Grebennikov shakes out. It's a really strong effort from him so far. Of course, the athlete's climbing in reverse order, so he qualified in 8th place. Lowest ranked finalist. Next ice block behind him, no pre-drilled placements in there, so again we're going to see the athletes swinging their axes into the ice. Figure 4 over the right hand. Just struggling to get a placement first time in that ice block. Temperatures here, very amenable, -1 degree Celsius, about 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Sun is shining on Kirov. Very pleasant conditions, so keeps the ice relatively soft. And there you see the rest of the route to come, those 4 hanging boxes ahead of him still. Final box with the finish in the top on that. Of course, with this being our first athlete, we don't see the clip split yet. Once we have our second athlete out, then we can decipher the timing differences between each athlete in reaching each of the quick draws. Cuts loose and commits 100% to the pre-drilled placement there. You see the blue paint. Those are the sections that the athletes don't have to swing into. They can actually place their tools first time into them. They're in varying sizes and shapes, but Grebennikov looking very comfortable. Just looking to tidy that rope up. You can see his next hold just above him there now. This was one of the moves that I wasn't sure about when I was doing the route reading. You see clip 10 just to his right hand side. Above that clip is a blue volume with a red intellect hold on it. And the gap between the intellect hold and the hanging box behind him, which you see, doesn't look that big from the floor, but I think it's going to be bigger than it seems, and I think it's going to be a committing swing from the structure to the box. So let's see what Dmitry Grebennikov makes of this. Of course, with him being such a tall athlete, it might be deceiving. Be more interesting perhaps to see the likes of Kuzovlev and Safdarian, some of the shorter climbers and how they make sense of this next move. Grubenikov, around a minute remaining on the clock. Needs to pull something out of the bag here. He has clipped 10 made. Looks for a figure 4 over the left hand, and you see as he does that, his body inverts, using the hand on the volume, which is a smart move from him. Davai Dimitri. Definitely seeing some fatigue now. Big swing with the right hand, misses it first time and definitely tired. Looks totally gassed. That's a fantastic effort from our first male climber as he goes to his knees and takes a breath. Dmitry Grubenikov, the Siberian bear, with a smile on his face, as always, puts in a great first attempt. And so now we alternate back to the female climbers, and second female athlete will be Anastasia Zazdravnik of Russia. Great to see her back in the finals.
Подключайте спутниковое ТВ от МТС с расширенным пакетом каналов и получите скидку до 50% на оборудование.
Дима, отойди с площадки, пожалуйста. Сейчас инструмент будут снимать.
You see again on the right hand side, Zazdravnik at the bottom on the right, tying in the women's route on the right, the men's route on the left.
Замечательно. Друзья, давайте поаплодируем еще раз нашим спортсменам. На женской трассе готовится к прохождению трассы Заздравных Анастасия, Российская Федерация.
Заздравных Анастасия, welcome to the women's route.
Zazdravnik in lilac trousers and the orange helmet. Sounds like we've got a drumming band out there. I haven't seen them personally. Viewers from all over the world tuned in. If you're watching on the Extreme channel, then a very warm welcome to you. Great to have you on board. And Zazdravnik begins her attempt. As always, if you have questions or comments, then use that chat box if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube. If you're watching on television, then you can always maybe flick YouTube or Facebook on your phone, mute it, and still ask questions and get involved. We'd love to hear your reactions, or use any of the social media channels. Use that hashtag UIAA Ice Climbing, or you can contact me directly on @Liam Lonsdale. Zazdravnik moving up towards that first pre-clipped quick draw. We keep that clipped for all of the competitors. Keeps the athlete safe in those potentially more dangerous lower sections. Zazdravnik opting for the same method as Shabnam Asadi. Right leg over left hand into the figure 4 on that Chinese hold, the resin plate with the stone. A big reach over herself. She'll need to use that lower leg to boost herself up. Changing tactics, taking a second to shake. Matches in, crosses tools there to give herself a slightly different position. And oh, little pop, but she's okay. Manages to recover. She's looking for the best spot on that hold. She's got into the top of it. Big reach off that undercut with the right hand into the orange hold with the left.
Как мы можем наблюдать, наши финалисты выступают попеременно. То есть мужчина-участник с них сменяется женщиной-участницей. Напомню, что по 8 финалистов у нас сегодня в дисциплине трудности. И у каждого финалиста и финалиста
Cyrus Santoro asks how he gets tickets. Interesting question. To be honest, you don't really need to worry about tickets. This is the final competition of the season, but if you're interested in visiting any of the competitions next year, then keep an eye on the... Oh, Zdravnik almost dropping a tool there. Nice little catch. If the athletes drop the tools, then they're out. Uses the handle of the axe on that Krukonogi peg. What I was saying was if you'd like to watch one of the competitions live, then check out the UIAA.org. Their website will have the calendar for next season on it, usually in the fall. Tools that they're using are called ice axes. These particular tools are designed specifically for this type of climbing, competition climbing on artificial holds. We'll talk about all of the moves as they happen. But if you're interested specifically in the jargon, then we have a Jargon Buster video on the UIAA YouTube channel. You can find out all the information on there. Reaches down with the left hand to make that next clip. So Zdravnik looking cautious but moving confidently at this point. A little bit of shake in the legs there as she reaches over that delicate left hand for the right. Those intellect holds offering zero friction. Clip 5 made. Reaches out with the right hand. Makes a good placement with the right hand tool into that ice. Matches in the high grip with the left hand.
Давайте, друзья, нужно поддержать Настю. Немножечко поболеть за нашу спортсменку.
So Zdravnik, 34 years old, puts the right leg over her left hand into the figure 4 position. Cuts loose on that right hand on the underside of that steep roof box. Altman, she's let go of her left tool there. Now that's problematic. Will she have enough in her to shake out and reach back for that? We have Jan Hansen, Cora Jury and Petra Klingler all tuned in on the YouTube broadcast. Some of the top athletes on this circuit, all there supporting and watching. Oh, she's so close to that. There, she's got it with the left hand. Needs to take a breath now and relax and compose herself. Still has over 2 minutes remaining. So now that tricky move. She's in the figure 9 position, right leg over right hand. Victor Maslov said he didn't even know Petra Klingler was an ice climber. Victor, you need to do some reading, buddy. Petra Klingler, of course, took a gold medal at this venue in the Ice Climbing World Cup 2015. The only climber to take gold medals in both ice climbing and sport climbing disciplines. Petra Klingler, 2016 IFSC bouldering world champion. Watching live. Okay, Anastasia Zazdravnik now still moving in the Stein. Shaking some blood back into those hands. Trying to get some of that lactic acid out of the forearms. The next move. Powerful move up to that swinging volume. Zazdravnik now ahead of the high point that Shabnam Asadi set in the first attempt on this route. Oh, little foot pop there. See, Zazdravnik using monopoint crampons and riskily lets that axe stay in the Stein. It's the second time that she's left her left tool behind. Oh, she's trying to kick it out. That was a very peculiar method, but obviously she knows she's done and comes down. Great effort. This route so physical. Or perhaps she timed out. Actually, we don't have a clock here in the commentary booth at the moment, so perhaps she had actually timed out. But a great effort from Anastasia Zazdravnik of Russia. Second female athlete climbed now up to that swinging volume. Now we go back to the male athletes. We have another Russian climber, Alexander Karandashev. Fun fact, of the 16 spots in the finals, 10 of them are occupied by Russians, 6 men and 4 women. Did what they needed to do yesterday to qualify for this final. The World Championships here in Kirov, Russia.
На старт мужской трассы приглашается Карандашев Александр, Российская Федерация.
Karandashev Alexander, welcome to the men's room.
And there is Karandashev tying in.
Что, весело у нас сегодня, болельщики? Отлично, поддерживаем финалистов. Идут в
Karandashev put in a stellar performance yesterday. First time we've seen him in a finals of a competition, certainly in my career. In fact, it's the first time I've seen him in a competition in my career since 2015. I've been following this tour. Well amongst the finalists, qualifying in 7th place. Some very strong athletes come out of Kirov.
Так, кстати, для всех присутствующих, для всех болельщиков, участников, друзей спортсменов, сегодня у нас здесь планируется большая развлекательная программа, в том числе и спортивная разминка для всех желающих.
Straight onto that hanging ice block, moves now onto the main structure.
По 9 минут для прохождения препятствий трассы. На мужской трассе Карандашев Александр, Российская Федерация.
Karandashev now up onto the Krukonogi steel edge there with the left tool, reaches up with the right hand into that Gaston. Gaston, when the climber takes what we call a side pull in the opposite direction to its orientation. Now it's the side pull, taking it in the backhand grip. Another side pull with the right hand, really laying away off that. Feet very high and close to the axe to give him high center of gravity and a lot of power through that hold. Another technical and powerful crossover move. Karandashev nicely skipping that move. Setters unable to force the use of both holds there. Karandashev using strong shoulders to move through the sequence with ease. Karandashev now dropping that left knee to lean over himself. Really powerful position. Technical and powerful start to this men's route. And you can see now he's at the change of angle. This structure gets significantly steeper. Clip 5 made. If you're wondering how they score these climbers, it's very simple. Each clip gives the climber a point. When they make clip 4, then they have 4. When they make clip 5, they have 5. And then each hold between the clips is worth a secondary point. So if they reach the first hold after clip 4, that's 4-1. Or rather 4.1. If they reach the second, it's 4.2. And then to split any ties, we also have another secondary point, which is for the position on those holds. So if the climber uses the hold, it's a certain score. If they just touch the hold, it's a certain score. And so when you look at the results, you can find all the live results on results.theuiaa.org. You can see that they'll have a score of something like 5.21. That's how we split them. If the athletes top the routes, then it comes down to time. If we have more than one top, the fastest climber is the winner. It really is as simple as that. Karandashev now in that hanging ice block. New ice blocks for every climbers. Good position with that right hand. Taking a second to shake while he has the foot placement in the structure. And now you can see above him the extent of the route that he still has to climb. Only at clip 5 of 16. Clip 6 made. Karandashev now with clip 7 made. Getting a start to that swing to keep the momentum going. Big move out with that left hand. Misses it first time. Readjusts, generates some momentum. Misses it second time. very, very steep position, all of the weight through his arms. Hits it third time with the left hand. Cuts loose and commits to it 100%, and he's climbing up his single ice axe. By the very tip, he's on that wall. It is a good edge. That was close. Karandashev placing all of his trust in that placement. Really nicely done and maintained excellent composure there. Into that figure four over the left hand. Just trying to calm himself down before he makes these next moves into the ice barrel. Over a minute remaining. Still plenty of time to get up towards clip number 10, and that was, of course, the high point that Dmitry Grebennikov set before him. Onto that Krukanogi golf ball. For those of you that aren't familiar with that hold, it might look fairly positive, but there is zero friction. The climbers treat that hold with so much caution and respect. They can be on it 1 second and really off it in no time at all. Onto that intellect hold now on the blue volume by clip 9. Those dying seconds now. He's going to reach out behind him onto that ice block. Oh, and it's timeout, I believe. Great effort from Karandashev. Not quite matched the high point of Grebennikov. Puts him into a provisional second place. But a brilliant fight from the Russian climber in this finals here at the 2019 UIAA Ice Climbing Lead World Championships. This was that moment that Karandashev committed to the ice barrel and then bailed out of there. Great effort from him. And there's our next athlete, Russian climber and protege of Maria Tolokonina. It's Valeria Bogdan. Placed 7th in the European, in the World Youth Championship under 22 a few weeks ago. No, it was last week. Wow, time does fly. into that figure four, right leg over left hand on the Chinese hold. Same method that we saw Asadi use. But of course, Zdravnik tried that method and then switched, much like it looks as though Valeria Bogdan's about to do. Crimps that hold with her right hand. Of course, the athletes are allowed to use their hands on the holds. Not always advantageous, but it looks like it's worked there for Bogdan. Just looking for that best placement. Bogdan's still not 100% committed to that move. She does look like she wants to commit to the Stein, and she's got it. Excellent work. Big reach with the left hand, misses it first time, hits it second time. One of the shortest athletes in the final, if not the shortest, I believe. And that shot there only giving us about half of the route. Give you some perspective on how long these climbs are, and you can see she's using the handle of the axe. Technique that we first saw right at the beginning of this season. Sergei Tarasov, first person to use that in the Combined World Championships back in Moscow. Bogdan fairly slow out of the start of this route. Seems like she has cold hands. What we need to see from her is pick up in the pace. You can bet that Coach Maria Tolokanina will be moving through this section much faster. Big reach with that right hand. Easily makes it as she kicks in just above clip 4 to make clip 5 at the change of angle. Looking to get a good placement in the ice, gets it there eventually. Not happy though. Interesting, breaking away some of that loose ice. There it is, looks like she's happy with that placement, perhaps not. Just not quite finding the position that she wants before she does commit to it. Right leg over right hand for the figure 9 and goes 100% onto that ice barrel. Left hand into the high grip. Switches that right leg over the left for a figure 4. And onto that red hold on the underside of the horizontal roof. So now Bogdan must reach up high into that stein, gets it first time. Uses the heels on that red hold to give her a little bit of respite, take some weight off the arms. And if she can move past this barrel, she's comfortably into a provisional first place. In that hanging volume now, we can see she has one clip high above her, clip number 7. You can see that the ice is starting to melt as well. Temperature's probably above 0 now. In fact, I'm just checking and I can see that looking online, it is 1 degree Celsius out there, above the freezing point. Will affect the condition of the ice. Bogdan just struggling a little with this hanging volume to get the momentum to catch that next hold. Third time lucky. Oh, just misses it. She was so close there. Bogdan times out with a new high point. Only marginally ahead of Anastasia Zazdravnik. Far enough to put her into a provisional first place. And there's our next athlete, our first French climber, Luna Ladevant. Luna winning the European Cup round this weekend in Oulu, or rather last weekend in Oulu, Finland. Took the overall first place in the European Cup. Reaches up with the left hand onto that Krukonogi hold. And I would expect we can see Luna moving very quickly through the lower part of this route. He's a good aggressive style. Definitely comfortable on his tools. Luna finished in the overall rankings this season 11th. Made finals in Italy, placing 4th, and also in France, where he took his first ever bronze medal. His first medal in a World Cup competition, so 3rd finals of the season for Ladevant. Oh, and it looked like he might have hit himself in the mouth there. What a nightmare.
Аплодисменты, друзья, мы благодарим спортсменов независимо от результата. Это нелегкий
Let's watch that one more time.
благодарны нашим гостям.
He was moving very aggressively through that lower section as I expected.
Давайте еще раз
Tool in the mouth. And he just popped off that left hand. Hard to see what happened to the mouth. Let's see if we can see it one more time. He had that left hand,
На женскую трассу приглашается к старту
perhaps hitting,
Томас Марион.
maybe he hit the tool on his way down. That's a real shame for Luna Ladovol. You can see how disappointed he is. Real shame for the Frenchman. That puts him into third place so far. I'd expect with a fall that low. It's going to be him at the bottom of the rankings, sadly, in this men's comp. Or the bottom of the finals ranking, still would walk away with an 8th place, which is impressive nonetheless in an ice climbing world championships. And there's our next athlete, another French climber, this time Marion Thomas. Marion finished 7th this season in the overall rankings. 9th place in Korea, just missing out on finals. Made finals in South Bay, placing 6th. Missed out on finals again in Italy, placing 9th. Back in finals in Chamonix, home competition, placing 6th. And then just a few weeks ago in Denver, Colorado for the season finale, made finals again and placed 5th. The results enough to score 219 points and gain a top 10 ranking. Marion Thomas emerging now to climb up the lower part of this route. Will she get past that swinging volume? Easily into that first Stein there. It caused a few athletes some problems. Thomas moving past it effortlessly almost into that next position. Little slip of the pick as it gets seated with the left hand. Inverts the tool to use the handle on that Krukanogi peg and reaches up left-handed onto the next hold. Next clip 4, looking super relaxed so far. Into the change of angle now with the left hand. Thomas opting to slow down here and wait before she powers through this steep section just to get a little bit back, and it's the first time we've seen a climber of the finalists do this, and perhaps this could make all the difference. If we see a performance where she just explodes through the upper section, doesn't stop to rest, then maybe it'll work. Low placement in the ice, interesting from Thomas. Tomas goes right-handed to that orange hold on the underside of that roof. Really nice and strong movements. Needs to take care not to fall off that placement as she misses the Stein. Big left hand with that figure four over it, and she places the right hand into the Stein, uses the heel on the volume, traps her tool in the heel, actually. Can she pull that out without lifting the heel off? Manages it just. And now she's onto that hanging box with plenty of time to go. It's a really nice performance so far for the French climber. Big reach with that right hand, misses it first time. Oh, little foot pop. Manages to catch herself on that tool. Allez Marion. Stays composed. Still struggling with this move. Nobody's managed to pass this volume yet. Reaches up with the right hand and she's into that ice box now, rather the ice barrel. You can see the water coming down on her. Temperatures here above freezing now. The surface of the ice somewhat slushy. If she makes this clip, she goes into provisional first place. Still has plenty of time. There it is, clip number 8 made. Marion Tomas goes into provisional first place. 4 more climbers remaining. You can see how tired she is. Heavy breathing. She looks at those holds ahead of her. Hangs off that left arm. And here she goes. Jams the head of that ice axe into the roof there in the pick on the blue hold. Right leg over right hand, right leg over left hand. Switching between 4s and 9s. She reaches back into that Stein, misses it first time. Allez Marion. Less than a minute on the clock now. Oh, and she's off. Slight panicked maneuver with that left-hand tool. And then her hands gave up. Just over 40 seconds when she fell, remaining Climbing for over 8 minutes, much longer than these athletes have had to climb in any of the other competitions. Not just testing their technical ability, but also their sheer determination to hold on. And at clip 9, still with 7 clips remaining to the top. These athletes have 16 clips in total on their routes. If someone's going to get to the top, then they're going to have to move incredibly efficiently and incredibly fast. Next athlete already ready to go on that left-hand side. It's Russia's Alexei Dengin. And there is Alexei Dengin in the orange trousers. Begins his route. Oh no! I don't believe it. I do not believe it. Home competition for Alexei Dengin. You see the disappointment in his face. Finished 10th this season in the overall rankings. And they'll almost certainly finished 8th today. Let's see what happens there. Goes up with that right hand. Into the intellect hold in the high grip. The left tool popped. And then the tension in the right hand just too much. And now he was out. And it's going to be a lot of soul searching required for Dengin. So disappointing for him, especially after last season finishing 2nd overall. To drop down into 10th. We talked about it at length, and he said he's not really quite sure what's wrong, but feels a lot of pressure. I know that he'll be back next year, and I know that he'll be back fighting. Been on this tour longer than many of the athletes. "20 years, in fact." Real disappointing finish to this World Championships for Alexei Dengin, but that is the way it goes. 4 more athletes remaining in the men's competition, 4 more athletes remaining in the women's. There is going to be a slight delay now with that fall. You can see on the right-hand side the ladies' ice barrel being winched up. We'll have to wait for that to be put in place before we can get Emily Brentling out there. If you are just joining us, a very, very warm welcome to sunshine blessed Kirov this morning. We're live. It's 11:07 p.m. a.m. local time, and it's the 2019 UIAA Ice Climbing World Championships. If you want to get in touch with us, you can use that hashtag that's on your screens, and it'll pop up fairly frequently. Hashtag UIAA Ice Climbing. You can use that on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can, of course, drop us a comment or a message in the chat box. You can contact me directly on @Liam Lonsdale. Send me a message, drop me a comment, whatever you fancy. And if you do have questions, then I will be happy to answer them. You're watching the lead finals. We're exactly halfway through. 4 men and 4 women have climbed. We have 4 men and 4 women remaining. Still to climb, Enni Bertling, Mariam Filipova, Maria Tolokanina, and Yun Seon Shin, Nikolai Kuzovlev, Mohammad Reza Safdarian, Alexei Marshallov, and Maxim Tomilov. Perhaps it would be prudent at this stage of the competition to take a quick look at the rankings so far. We can look at the women's first. While we wait for our next female climber, Enni Bertling, to join us. Of the 4 women that have climbed, provisional first place is still held by France's Marion Thomas. Second place by Valeria Bogdan of Russia. Third place by Anastasia Zazdravnik of Russia. Fourth place so far held by Shabnam Asadi of Iran. Still 4 more climbers to go. We can take a look at the men's results as well. Men's competition, 4th place. It does show up was undoubtedly Alexei Dengin with that very low fall. Such a shame to see him finish the competition in that way. Yeah, not refreshed on the results page yet, but he will be in 4th. 3rd place, Luna Ladovon with another desperately low fall. 2nd place, Alexander Karamdashev of Russia. 1st place currently held by Dmitry Grebenikov, also of Russia. 4 more men to climb. So expect change in that ranking. There is our next athlete just emerging, placing the tools into the start position on the right-hand side of the structure. Enni Bertling of Finland. Getting ready to begin her attempt at this ladies' finals route.
На женской трассе дан старт участница, спортсменка из Финляндии Бертлин Энни. Напомню собравшимся, что для участия в чемпионате мира по ледолазанию в Киров съехались 80 спортсменов, сильнейших спортсменов из 18 стран мира.
Enni Bertling straight away climbs up the lower part of this route. Using her tall stature to make light work of that first tricky Stein move with the right hand. Uses the handle of her right hand tool on that Krukonogi peg. Reaches across herself with that left hand into the Chinese stone holds. Clip 4 there. Ahead of her, moving very quickly through this low section. Great work so far from Bertling.
Я очень надеюсь, что мы зажжем эту весну. Это будет настоящий огонь, спортивный огонь.
Approaching that ice barrel. It's a good stick. Not quite satisfied with it. Again, the temperatures here around 1 or 2 degrees Celsius, providing some interesting conditions on that ice, but Bertling committed 100%, moves fairly quickly through that first placement and gets onto that red hold. The relative security of that hold. Just looking to release the tool. Doesn't want to come out. There it is. Matches in with that right hand and flicks the left leg over the right into the figure four. Bertling now in that Stein position with the right hand, using it as an opportunity to get a little bit of respite before she makes that next clip. Onto the swinging volume. She's left that tool down there in the Stein. She looks to get a better position with the feet. Seems to have been the issue so far with that swinging volume and the angles of this steep roof is that the athletes can't get a good kick, can't get a good foot placement in the wood. Now you see the difficulty here is that she has to reach back down for that tool from a rather precarious position. How will she manage this? There it is. Releases that tool. And is now fully committed to that swinging volume. Little slip there. You can see she still has so much of that route to go. Moves up onto the next hold, really nice work. She's now committed into that barrel with the pre-placed, or rather, Bertling really needing to pick up the pace now. Marion Thomas falling slightly above her. Oh no, she's off. Waves to the crowd.
Аплодисменты для финской спортсменки Бертлинг Энни.
see the water from that ice pillar on her face,
Когда у
melting
вас
ice.
увеличивается скорость интернета,
Not
это
necessarily
легко не
helping the
заметить.
competitors.
Просто вы перестаете ждать, пока скачиваются фильмы или отправляются файлы. Вот если бы увеличилась абонентская плата,
The dying seconds of that route, it seems so far that 8 minutes is as long as these athletes can hold on.
выросла. Домашний интернет от МТС.
Bertling will be ranked just below Marion Thomas,
Увеличена потенциально возможная максимальная скорость
who did manage to get up to that green hold.
домашний интернет на некоторых тарифных планах. Подробности на сайте dom.mts.ru.
So Enni Bertling of Finland goes into a provisional second place. Still with 3 athletes to climb, Filipova, Tomokonina and Yunseon Shin. 4 athletes still to climb in the men's, and there is your next male climber. This year's overall World Cup winner. The 6 competitions, he won 4. And he came second in the other 2, only to one person, Yannick Glattard. Only person able to beat Nikolai Kozlovlev this year. Nikolai Kozlovlev sets himself up for this World Championship Finals route. Has he burned out after 7 competitions this season, or is he still got something left in the tank? The way he performed this season, he was the fittest, he was the fastest, and he was the strongest. He was so composed, warrior-like mentality. I'd be very surprised if he brought anything but that here today. Straddles that ice pillar in these first moves. And here he goes. Kozlovlev already moving through the technical lower section relatively easily. It's the point where Luna Ladovon fell. He goes ahead of Ladovon now. Into that change of angle. He's into the ice pillar and quickly off it. Kicks his feet into the underside of that volume and then moves quickly between that Kukunogi plate and the intellect hold above. Big swing off that right hand. And into the figure 4 over the right to swing into the next ice pillar. Reaches up with the right hand over himself already. At clip 8. This is the type of pace that we expect to see from somebody that wants to be on the podium. Such a difficult route, this one. Such a lot of climbing to do, even in 9 minutes. Kozlovlev moving very, very well now. Progressing nicely through this route onto the pre-drill placements. And if he can make clip 10, he'll be tied with Grebennikov. I expect him to make that clip and then also show us how the next part of the route is done. Just taking a second to shake here. And now with that big move behind him, you get to see what the route set is intended. Big reach to the clip. And commits 100% to that box, and he's fully cut loose. Held for a brief second on one hand, but manages to kick in. And now on those hanging boxes, making some really good progress. Clip 11 behind him of 16. Into the Stein now, the first time we've seen these moves climbed. And that's clip 12. Pump starting to set in for Nikolai Kozlovlev. Reaches behind himself again. Rather, clip 13 made now. 3 more to go, including the top. Gets that box swinging and reaches up with the left hand. "14" swinging above him as he places the left tool into that Stein position. And Nikolai Kozlovlev is fast approaching the top with around a minute remaining. You can see there's still 2 more boxes to go. If he really wants to cement a position on that podium, then I would expect the top is what he needs. Reaches behind him onto the penultimate box now. Commits to one hand, and you see fatigue setting in, and Nikolai Kozlovlev falls. It's not a common occurrence, but this structure in Kirov beats Nikolai Kozlovlev. He doesn't get the top here, and now will have to sit patiently and watch as the other climbers put in their attempts. Nikolai Kozlovlev could have a podium place. He currently sits in provisional first, but with Safdarian, Marshalov and Tomilov still to climb, it's possible that he will be in 4th. There was that deciding moment He just missed the kick. Committed with the tool and just didn't quite have enough left in the tank to match on with that right hand. And you can see the frustration, but I truly believe that that was 100% fatigue. So rare to see Kozlovlev make a mistake, not least one of coordination. That little kick, or rather miss kick, cost him dearly there. Great effort from Nikolai Kozlovlev, and now we have our third to last female, Mariam Filipova of Russia, qualified in third place. Sixth athlete out in this women's final. Tying in the purple jacket on your screen. In a few moments' time, she'll begin her women's final route in the 2019 UIAA Ice Climbing World Championships in Kirov, Russia. And here begins Mariam Filipova on her attempt at this women's lead final route. Filipova this season been relatively consistent, climbing in all of the competitions, finished 10th overall. Placed 13th in Korea, 4th in Switzerland, 13th in Italy, 7th in France. We didn't see her in Denver, of course. Not quite the season she had the year before, where Filipova, who is 37 years old, already at the change in angle. A good pace set so far by the Russian climber. Filipova already onto that swinging volume, moved through those first sections with ease. This is, of course, Filipova's home competition. She's a Kirov local. Her and husband Maxim Tomilov training on this structure regularly. Look at that, reaches up off that box. Somewhat casually, actually. She's going to have saved a lot of energy moving so quickly through that part. In the foreground, you can see the replacement ice barrel being winched up for the next male competitors. Filipova just trying to reach up into the next hold. She was looking to go at that front on, but the other climbers have used it as a Stein. Makes the placement. Brief kick into the underside of this roof, and then left leg over right hand for the figure 4. Back to the figure 9. This is brilliant climbing from Mariam Filipova. Into the Stein on the green hold with the left hand. And that's going to put her into a provisional first place now. No other climber getting to that point. There's clip 9 made. She's up there now onto the next step. That Chinese hold offering a little bit of security. Fairly basic position, even though the placement's not huge. After being inverted, those tools in that regular position will feel a little more secure. Photographer emerging on the right there. Filipova just taking a second, and of course, just to remind you, 9 clips in, she still has 7 more to go. So much climbing still to do. 10 just above her. There it is, and you can see how comfortable she is in this steep terrain. Clip 11 made now, and Filipova looking behind her. The next set of moves. She's come such a long way to get to this point. Over 2 minutes remaining. Switching back between 4s and 9s for this next sequence. Still so far to go. She's only about halfway through the steepest part of this route. And you can bet that both Tolokanina and Shin will be firing on all cylinders. Has Filipova secured herself a podium place? I can tell you that she has. Provisional first place with only 2 climbers to go. She's guaranteed a bronze medal here, which I'm sure she'll be delighted with. Hits the next hold, and the crowd supports her now. Big cheers. Oh, and she's off. Perhaps nothing left in the tank, but very happy with her performance nonetheless. Superb work from local climber Marianne Filipova, who's guaranteed bronze medal. She'll have to wait and see how Tolokanina and Shin do as to whether it's bronze, silver, or indeed gold.
Welcome to the men's route.
Now our next climber joins us. The red trousers and the yellow shirt. Mohammad Reza Safdarian of Iran. We'll be back with him in just a second. Safdarian making quick progress through these first moves. Clip 4 made. Safdarian making fast progress so far. Makes clip number 5 as he heads towards the ice barrel. Straight off the ice barrel into that next section through the Krukonogi plate. Safdarian, of course, something of a hero of Iranian climbing. Placed 3rd overall last season, took the first ever medal for an Iranian climber in Sasfeh, where he took a bronze, and then the following week upped his game, set the bar higher and took a gold medal in Rabenstein. Very consistent season, making every single final, placed 6th in China, 5th in China, 6th in Korea, and 4th here in Kirov. As with many of the athletes this year, hasn't quite seen the same success or consistency. Finished 17th in Korea, 4th in China, 4th in Switzerland, then 7th in Italy and 7th in France. We didn't see him in Denver due to visa issues. The Iranians struggling to get issues for the US. But he's back here in Kirov and back looking for a place on the podium in this World Championship. Straight into the figure 4 over the right hand by clip number 8. Straight onto that pre-drilled barrel now, between clips 9 and 10. High point, originally set by Grebennikov, who's just at this point, of course, Kozlovlev much higher. Safdarian with lots of time still to go. Just less than 4 minutes remaining. Advancing now from that position. Safdarian just taking a moment in this ice barrel, not quite. Oh no, he's just kicked his axe out. I almost saw that happening. What a heartbreak. Absolute nightmare. Oh. Can barely believe it. Huge mistake there for Safdarian, and you see the frustration in the climber's face. 26-year-old Iranian, as soon as he kicked the axe out, ended his attempt. What a shame. And that puts him in provisional second place, I believe. Behind Nikolai Kozlovlev, and now we'll wait to see Marshalov and Tomilov and how they climb. So watch his left hand, he lets go of the tool briefly there, and then he goes to throw the figure four in and just kicks the tool out on the way past. It's not the kind of mistake we expect to see from Safdarian, but it's the kind of thing that can happen. Climbers moving so much through this steep terrain, the slight lapse in concentration costs them everything. Next climber out. One climber who very rarely lapses in concentration. Another local. This is her stomping ground. Maria Tolokanina, unbeaten all season, apart from one competition. Scored a perfect overall score of 500 points. Penultimate female climber. Begins her attempt at this women's final route. The 2019 UIAA Ice Climbing World Championships. Tolokanina moving very quickly through these initial sections, as to be expected. She wants to be in with a chance of topping this route, and that's exactly what she needs to do, is move efficiently, move quickly. No real time to stop for a break and shake. No real time to stop and read. She needs a fast and flawless performance. Tolokanina quickly off that ice barrel and moves up into the hanging volume. Looks behind her to place the tool into the pre-drill placements on the ice pillar and clips 7. Really efficient climbing. Not pulling any slack up to make the clip. Confident in her own abilities to advance. There's clip 8. Tolokanina moving with ease through that horizontal roof. Only one climber to reach this point so far, Marian Filipova. We'll be watching very closely from the ice blocks down at the base. Those first-ranked climbers sit in the ice blocks watching to see if they will stay on that top spot. That's clip 10 made. Reaches behind herself now into the Stein. And as she makes clip 11, that matches Marian Filipova's high point. If she can touch that next hold, then she'll tie with Filipova. But I expect Tolokanina to not only touch that hold, but to move past it. She is taking a second to shake here, and she's got so much time to do it. This is exactly what we expect to see from Tolokanina. She's now in provisional first place, and this clip will guarantee that. There it is. Powerful undercut move now. Looks like she's got the head of the axe against the wall for the Stein. And look at that foot positioning. Very talented climber. Moves so intuitively, so instinctively. That's exactly what you'd expect from someone that trains on this structure and has been climbing since they were basically old enough to walk. Clip 13 made. Tolokanina knows that Yunseon Shin is coming for her and knows that she needs to secure the top to really cement her chances of that world champion title. Seamlessly flicks between 4 and 9. Just less than 2 minutes remaining now. Clip 14's made. 15 and 16. Oh, and a little pop there. The first real dip in form that we've seen from Tolokanina all competition. And what have the route setters done here? Tricky finishing move. Testing the athlete's fitness, and she manages to place it. Right tool in there, and she cuts loose. Fully committed on that right hand. Stays composed. Flings those legs back above her head into the figure four. Such an exceptional athlete. And that's clip 15 made. The top is just ahead of her now. You can see the Intellect holding the blue volume ahead of her. Another very tricky move. First onto the crook and ugly edge. Full commitment now. Will she go directly to the top? Less than a minute on the clock. Time is of the essence. Such a powerful move to finish. She's fully horizontal. Big reach. Oh, and she's missed it! Oh dear. Maria Tolokanina fist pumps and knows that she's done a solid effort. Guaranteed second place. Has she done enough for first? Stunning effort there from Maria Tolokanina. Climbed all the way up to 16th clip. Didn't quite make the top or the final clip. Greeted by the local judges and officials.
Welcome to the men's route.
The route setters really put a sting in the tail of that route. Fatigue got the better of Tolokanina on that very difficult last move. In the dying seconds, she just managed to save a fall a few moments earlier. Didn't quite have enough to save that one. Maria Tolokanina in provisional first place. Winshan Shin left to climb. And what has she got to answer that? We're going to find out. You'll have to stay tuned, because before that we'll see Alexei Marshallov, the man on your screen, penultimate male athlete, will climb on this men's final route now. He'll be followed by Maxim Tomilov in a few moments' time. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, then please do share this. Of course, you can use that hashtag as well, UIAA Ice Climbing. You can use that on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And keep an eye on all those platforms. You can contact me directly on @Liam Lonsdale. You can use that on, again, Facebook, Instagram or Twitter. If you want to send me a message, if you have any questions, I'd be delighted to hear them. Alexei Marshallov begins the route and moves into the main section to begin. Marshallov straight away into the technical section. His intellect holds. Clip number 3. through into that steeper section now. Big swing with that axe to get a good placement. Reaches up behind him onto that Kukunogi plate. And Marshallov, who isn't a local of Kirov, in fact, you're more likely to find him training in St. Petersburg with Anastasia Zazdravnik and Dmitry Maslov. Marshallov now moves through the first steep moves. Someone asking, are you allowed to step on the holds in the broadcast? You are indeed allowed to step on the holds.
На мужской трассе Маршалов Алексей, Российская Федерация. Друзья, поддерживаем, не забываем, зачем вы сюда пришли. Вы пришли сюда болеть и переживать, и сопереживать всем спортсменам, которые
A little bit of extra balance, brings their centre of gravity slightly higher, takes some of the weight off their hands. Marshallov now at clip number 7, which is up and left. Clip 8 now, Marshallov just slowing a little. Of course, this route getting ever steeper. A real test for these athletes.
Поддерживаем Алексея, поддерживаем, болеем. Друзья мои, давайте. Ну, зрители, не слышу вас вообще, Филейка. Проснулась ли ты?
Marshallov in the pre-drill barrel after clip 9. If he can move past this point, then he will go ahead of Mohammad Reza Safdarian. Safdarian, of course, kicked his tool out of this ice pillar. In a heartbreak moment. Oh, and he's off! Whoa, I was not expecting that. Alexei Marshallov,
Друзья, наши аплодисменты спортсмену из Российской
he looks
Федерации
absolutely
Маршалову
destroyed.
Алексею.
Leaves the door open for Maxim Tomilov. Nikolai Kuzovlev now guaranteed a medal. And in fact, guaranteed silver medal.
И наш спортивный комплекс «Трамплин» и «Скалодром» на спортивном комплексе не в первый раз принимает замечательнейшие
Marshallov gave everything there.
состязания
And just to give you
по
a quick recap of the men's results while we watch that replay, current 7th place, Alexei Dengin, 6th place, Lena Ladovol, 5th place, Alexander Karandashev, 4th place, Dmitry Grebenikov, 3rd place, Mohammad Reza Safdarian, 2nd place, Alexei Marshallov, 1st place, Nikolai Kuzovlev. So as it stands, Nikolai Kuzovlev will be crowned world champion, but one man can put a stop to that, and that's Maxim Tomilov, who will climb next after Wunseon Shin. While we see those replays, let me tell you about the women's results as they stand. 7th place is Shabnam Asadi, 6th place Anastasia Zazdravnik, 5th place Valeria Bogdan, 4th place Mariam Tomas, 3rd place Annie Bertlings, 2nd place guaranteed bronze medal Mariam Filipova, 1st place guaranteed silver medal Maria Tolokadina. Will it be gold? Wunseon Shin, the lady on your screen, will decide that. The only lady to beat Maria Tolokadina this season is that lady right there. Took gold medal in Switzerland and was right behind her in every other comp. Silver in Korea, silver in Italy, silver in France, and silver in Denver. 420 points, the score for her.
финалистов, участников и участниц по 9 минут для того, чтобы пройти финальную трассу в дисциплине трудности.
And here she goes, another flawless performance required. As we saw from Tolokadina, we need fast climbing, we need aggressive movement, we need efficient movement, and there is zero room for error. Shin is the reigning world champion. She won in Chamonix back in 2017. She wants to defend that title, no doubt about it. Moves quickly through that hanging ice pillar. So much experience. Wunseon Shin, incredible competitor. Quickly into the Stein with the right hand. Yunseon Shin not troubled too much by that swinging volume, straight off it. Reaches up for clip number 7. Needs to keep the pace. Shin now into the horizontal roof after that pre-placed position on the ice barrel. And she's 10 seconds ahead of Tolokanina, which is exactly where we would expect her to be if she wants to win. Shin looking super comfortable. Maria Tolokanina reached clip 15. Was almost at 16, so a top would guarantee a win for Yunseon Shin. Oh, and she's committed onto one hand there. Kicks with 1 foot and 2. Recompose it. Shin now just looking what she needs to do. Filipova made light work of this move. It's causing her a little bit more trouble than I would have expected. Just takes a moment to breathe. Gather her thoughts. Regroup before these next moves. Figure 4 over the right hand. Reaches up with the left into that intellect hold. Uses the heel of her boot to steady herself and then kick in with the toes. And here she goes now, this final section, the steepest part of the route. Where the climbers need to be even smoother. Big swing up with the right hand. Now passes Filipova's high point, which puts her into second place, guaranteed. She's now at clip 12 in that tough position on the intellect hold. Reaches behind her off that undercut to the next one. So much tension through these moves. And let's watch closely at those clip splits. She's got so much time to go, just can't stop. She's behind Tolokanina by some margin now. That stall back at the lip of the roof cost her precious seconds. But it was at this point, or rather the next move, that Tolokanina slipped and fell and managed to just hold herself. So Yunseon Shin can regain some time there. Steps through again. Back onto the figure 4 over the left hand. There's clip 14. It's almost certain that we'll have Russian speed champions. We already know that a Russian will win the men's after Nikolai Kuzovlev is in provisional first place with only one more climber to go. Can Yun Shin make it a clean sweep for Russia, or will she take a gold medal here? The dying seconds, or rather the last minute of this route happens. We're going to find out. Yun Shin now matches in with that left tool, changes her mind, switches the grip. This is really coming down to the wire. There's clip 15. Even just touching the last hold will give her the advantage over Tolokanina. You can see those last holds ahead of her into the figure four on that Krukonogi plate. Steps into the intellect undercut. And the extra height that Shin has could serve as an advantage here. The seconds falling away from her. And she sticks it! That's it! All she needs to do now to guarantee the top is make that top clip. But by holding it, she's won. She didn't hold the top, but she has won. She was world champion in 2017, and this year, 2019, regains that title, retains that title. Yun Shin of South Korea is world champion. Once again, greeted by President of the Jury of the Judges, Carlos Teixeira, and also by Judge Nadezhda Launitz. Yun Shin, world champion in the lead discipline 2019. Only one climber beat Maria Tolokanina this year, and it was her. And what an occasion and what a venue to beat Tolokanina here on home turf. And now, our final climber of the competition. Maxim Tomilov. He had retired this season, didn't compete in a single round of the competitions. It was said that he was done. He was a route setter in Denver, Colorado 2 weeks ago. And all of a sudden, he's here, he's back in Kirov. Rumor has it he was inspired by the competitions this season. He tuned into pretty much every broadcast, whatever time it was on. And he was there and he was watching and he was supporting. And now he's back. Hyung Park is the reigning world champion. He took the gold medal in Chamonix 2017. Guaranteed a new world champion. Nikolai Kuzovlev, who has been unstoppable pretty much all season, but for Yannick Letard, is currently in first place. If anyone can beat Kuzovlev on this structure, it's that man. Local climber Maxim Tomilov. Maxim Tomilov just checking those positions on these first moves. And as we know, as with the female climbers, a fast and flawless performance is what's required to do well on this structure. He's already had over 2 minutes of time. Perhaps that lack of comp experience this season affecting the pace and the trust in the tools on those lower moves. However, he does not have a lack of combat experience overall. Such a formidable athlete. And as he approaches this steeper part of the route, we really expect to see him come into his own. Tomilov now into that ice pillar by clip number 7. Not quite finding a good stick first time round there. And as he makes that move now, he reaches up onto that Krukanogi golf ball. Such poor friction. Really, really tricky maneuvers to be made in this part of the climb. Still very early in the steep section. Clip 8 made of 16. Tomilov now into the pre-drilled ice pillar. We approach the end of what we might call the semi-steep section, although it's really something like 60 degrees overhanging. It's horribly steep and getting steeper all the time. Really starts to get now into the meat of the route, into the horizontal section through the hanging boxes. Clip 10 of 16 made. Look at that, effortlessly cuts through into that ice box, or rather hanging box. Slices into that figure 4 like a butter through knife and continues now. Could this be a world championship climb? Kozlovlev will be watching very, very closely indeed. Onto that next ice box now, clip 13, just by his knees. There it is, it's made. You can see 14 and 15 on the right-hand side of your frame. He still has plenty of time to go. Question is, oh no, he's off! Oh dear!
Максим
Did not expect to see that. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Nikolai Kuzovlev is world champion, and I have to say he absolutely deserves it. Maxim Tomilov falling below Kuzovlev's high point. Little slip of the hand. Kuzovlev has been unbelievable all season, and I have to say it is justice that he takes that world championship. Tomilov caught the left hand, his right hand just popped and he didn't quite have enough to hold it. You can see the frustration in his face. Well-deserved silver medal for him. Absolutely amazing work from all of the Russian athletes. Let's take a look at those results one more time. We'll first look at the ladies' final results. First up, let's go to the women's. We'll go from 8th through first. 8th place goes to Shabnam Asadi. Look at that on the screen. That is, of course, Alexei Tomilov there, brother of Maxim. No doubt telling him what he needed to do differently. 7th place was Anastasia Zazdravnik of Russia. 6th place, Valeria Bogdan of Russia. 5th place, Marion Thomas of France. 4th place, Emily Bertling of Finland. 3rd place, bronze medal in this World Championship for Mariam Filipova. 2nd place and silver medal for Maria Telekonina of Russia. 1st place and gold medal goes to Yunseon Shin of Korea. Absolutely incredible finish to the season for her after being so close all year. So close indeed. Let's take a look at those men's results. 8th place. Sad finish to the season for Alexei Dengin, but I'm sure he'll be back and fighting, ready for more action next year. 7th place goes to France's Luna Ladovol. 6th place for Russia's Alexander Karandashev. 5th place to Russia's Dmitry Grebenikov. 4th place to Iran's Mohammad Reza Safdarian. And look at that for a podium in the men's rankings. 3rd place and a bronze medal. So close between Marshalov and Safdarian. 2nd place and a silver medal for Maxim Tomilov, who we just saw climb. Amazing to see him back in business, and after a year off competition, still has what it takes to come with a silver medal. 1st place, a well-deserved gold medal. Nikolai Kuzovlev, 2019 was definitely his year. He totally deserves that medal, finishing the season there. That concludes the lead finals for men and women. If you'd like to tune in for more action later, we'll have the speed finals. Those will go live just before 3 o'clock local time. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe on Facebook. Like on Facebook, rather. You'll be notified when we go live. 12 o'clock UTC, 3 o'clock local time. You can extrapolate. If you look on YouTube, it'll actually tell you what time it is locally. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure commentating on this final of the World Championship 2019 here in Kirov. Big thank you to our sponsors. Outdoor Research wouldn't be possible without them. Absolutely stunning season with them as the title sponsor for their first ever year. If you do want to get in touch with us, you can do so using that hashtag UIAA Ice Climbing. You can contact me directly on @Liam Lonsdale on all of the platforms. My name is Liam Lonsdale. It's been a pleasure, as I said. Whatever you're doing for the rest of the day, do it safely and do it with heart. Good afternoon from us, and we will see you again 3 p.m. local time.